What's up, everyone? I'm back at y'all with another video novel. This is my this is my Blumhouse movie collection. Now, I don't have every single Blumhouse movie, but I do have most of them. And to me, Blumhouse has done a lot of great movies. They've done a little bit of bad ones, but most of them that they've done are like very good. Like they barely ever make a bad movie. So yeah. So now let's start off with The Town that Dreaded Sundown. Now, I didn't think this movie was perfect. It was okay. This movie could have been better, but it was okay. You know, it had some decent kills in it, but it's not, Blumhouse's work. Best work. So, yeah. Next up, we have Insidious. This movie, to me, is iconic. This is one of Blumhouse's best movies. This is one of James Wan's best movies, and the original Insidious, to me, is going to be a classic. Next up, Insidious Chapter 2. Now, to me, this is a decent sequel. Is it a perfect sequel? No, but it's a decent sequel. I think that the first two Insidious movies are definitely the best out of the Insidious franchise, and I'm super excited for Insidious Chapter 5 with Patrick Wilson going on board to direct it. So, I cannot wait for that, because it's going to be a direct sequel to Part 2, and I cannot wait. So, yeah, this movie, I loved it. The tension was there. Like, James Wan's good at that kind of stuff. James Wan's one of my favorite directors. So, yeah. Insidious Chapter 2. Now, Blumhouse is one of my favorite studios because they make some high-quality films. And they always let a lot of the directors, I believe, do what they want with their movies. So, yeah. Next up, we have Insidious Chapter 3. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the weakest out of the Insidious franchise, in my opinion. But it's still watchable. I still love this film. But I just think it's like the weakest out of the Insidious franchise. Next up, we have Insidious The Last Key. This movie is one of the most underrated and unappreciated horror movies out there. I freaking enjoy the hell out of this movie. I like Elise's backstory, the main character's backstory. And, of course, we learned a little bit of that in the third movie. But this movie has flashbacks of what she went through when she was a kid. And I like that because it's like change of pace in the Insidious franchise. I like that quite a bit. Next up, we have Halloween 2018. Now, this movie to me brought Halloween back to its original type of roots. Because that train wreck that Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was, this movie felt like the classic old school Halloween. And that's what I loved about Halloween 2018. And the kills are freaking awesome. Next up, we have Halloween Kills. Now, I really don't get the hate Halloween Kills gets nowadays. I'm excited for Halloween Ends. I'm definitely going to watch Halloween Ends. But Halloween Kills, I really don't get the hate this movie gets. Like, I really don't get the hate. Because the kills are great. The mask was great. The soundtrack was great. The flashback scenes are great. I really enjoyed this movie. Next up, we have Happy Death Day. Now, Happy Death Day, this surprised me because the trailers I thought looked okay. But when I watched the movie, there was a lot of things I didn't see coming. There's a lot of twists, which is I really do enjoy. So yeah, Happy Death Day, pretty damn good. Next up, we have Happy Death Day to You. Now, Happy Death Day to You is a good sequel. Is it as good as the first one? Not exactly, but it's still a decent enough sequel that I could actually rewatch. Next up, we have Ma. Now, excuse me. Now, this movie is okay. I don't love it. I just think it's okay. Next up, we have The Invisible Man. Now, I don't enjoy this movie as much as a lot of people do. This movie is like one of them one-time watches because you already know the twists. Because this movie's not like Scream where you didn't expect the twist, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to watch it again. Because Scream, you could rewatch. I know this is a little off topic, but you could rewatch it even though you know the twists because of everything else that's going on with the decent characters and stuff. But The Invisible Man is one of them things that's like a one-time watch type deal. It's a good, decent enough movie that I could watch, but it's not one that I would rewatch too often. Next up, we have Fantasy Island. Now, I enjoyed this movie somewhat, but this movie's forgettable. Like, I think I've watched this movie once or twice, and it's been a while since I've watched this movie, and it's forgettable. Like, there's a lot of scenes that I really don't remember in this movie, but it's an okay film from what I remember about it, but it's not like one of the movies I would like rewatch over and over and over again. But yeah, it's an okay movie. Next up, we have one of my favorite movies that came out in recent years is Freaky. Now, of course, I believe it's the same director that brought us, of course, Happy Death Day 1 and 2. And I see some of those flavors thrown in there of Happy Death Day. It felt like Happy Death Day in a way in certain scenes. But this movie had more gore. It had more creative kills. It had even more crazy characters. Like, there's some funny moments in this film that I could like laugh out loud moments, which I really enjoyed. And Vince Vaughn was great in this movie. So yeah, this movie, it's damn good. This is one of the movies I could rewatch any time of day. Like, to me, this movie's gonna be held as a classic one day because I really enjoyed this movie. Next up, we have The Black Phone. Now, this movie was great. I recently just watched it for the first time, I believe like 2 days ago, and it was great. I love this movie. I could probably rewatch it. I might rewatch it later on sometime today, because I really enjoyed this movie. This movie kept me engaged from start to finish. This movie, I believe, takes place in the 70s or 80s and something like that. And you felt that. It felt like the 70s and 80s again. And that's one of the biggest things I loved about The Black Phone. So yeah, I was going to review it, but since I'm doing this video, I'll just review it here. It's a good movie. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Very fun film. I enjoyed this movie from start to finish. I was never bored. There's some moments that I didn't see coming. And I love the look. I love the feel of the film. I love the way it was shot and directed. I like the cinematography and everything. This movie delivered a lot. So yeah. And this movie's kind of original. But I believe it's based off of Stephen King's son's book. So yeah. I haven't read the book, but I believe that Stephen King's son's book that this movie's based off of. So yeah, this movie was good because we barely ever get original type of horror movies nowadays. Like, nowadays we had Don't Breathe, which is super original, and we had Don't Breathe 2, which is kind of original. So yeah, but you know, The Black Phone, it's an original type of film. And I enjoyed this movie. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If y'all enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe and share. Also hit the bell so you know new videos uploaded. Peace out. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.